and apinkerman, welcome back. I am so excited for all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining my channel. I've got a bunch of shadows on me today. I can't seem to get this light off, and I thought, well, maybe that's perfect. Maybe this will be an enlightening session today. So I wanted to talk about what does it mean to be moving from a carbon-based being to a crystalline-based being. And for me, that really originally felt like a lot of new age hodgepodge. It didn't make sense to me. When I would try to think about it, I would have this vision of like a crystal shooting out of my chest, and it just didn't make sense to me in my human form here how that was actually going to take place. So I just want to give a little bit foundation here before I dive into what my theory is on this matter and what the universe has brought to me to understand this. And I want to explain a little bit about chakras because I'm going to dive into your chakras on this. So if you aren't familiar with chakras, we have 7 main energy centers within our body that are described as chakras. We have a root chakra, a sacral chakra, a solar plexus chakra, a heart chakra, a throat chakra, a third eye chakra, and a crown chakra. And each of these energy systems plays a different vital role in our experience, and energy can get blocked in each one of these centers, causing a disruption or dis-ease within our being. So it's important, if you're not educated on chakras, start educating yourself on this. This is amazing information. The next thing I want to share is this book, The Hidden Messages in Water, from Dr. Masaru Emoto. And I don't know if you're familiar with him. If you did watch my hypnosis session, I know I brought him up. And I was exposed to him a couple years ago. And what Dr. Emoto did, I think he began his studies here in the United States and then went back to Japan and was able to start working with water, and he would freeze the water and then take pictures of the crystals that were forming in the water. And I think there's a short window of time for this, so it's a complex study that he did, but he then kind of expanded it and was like, well, if we expose it to music and we expose it to words, what will we get? And he started finding that all of these different crystals were forming, or in the case when he exposed it to war or hate or suffering, blobs would form. So nondescript kind of mucky water was the result, as opposed to these beautiful crystal formations that were occurring when we were putting even Beethoven or Mozart, just next to the water and, emitting that frequency into the water. So incredible book. I highly recommend you read it. But this leads into what the universe brought to me. Now, I had these things as my foundation, but, and the funny thing is, it actually comes from a book that I had already read, and I just wasn't ready to receive the information. I believe that we have to be attuned to receive information, and even if you go back and watch something multiple times, you'll tend to see new information pop up, and that's kind of what's happened to me. So I'm a student of the Law of One. I absolutely love my Law of One books. They have been life-changing for me. And I did have to become attuned to even receive the information. It took me a considerable amount of time after purchasing them to even be able to digest them. So I've just started randomly picking up the different books and just reading through them and seeing if something resonates with me. And sure enough, this part jumped off the page at me. So I could go into the whole diatribe about what the Law of One is, but I'm just going to kind of jump in and take you with me on this journey. So I was in book 3 here on page 9, and the questioners are asking the channel being brought about energy centers. So they're saying, am I correct in assuming that this is a function of the blockage of the energy center, so that when it is less blocked, the speed of rotation is higher and the energy increasing is greater? And Ra responds, you are partially correct in the first 3 energy centers. And when I'm talking about the first, or when Ra's talking about the first 3 energy centers in the Law of One, they're talking about the first 3 chakras. So that would be your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra. He said a full unblocking of this energy will create speeds of rotation. So kind of get the idea of like a fan spinning in your head here. There's an actual rotation that takes place with the chakras within the body, with these energy centers. And based whether they're blocked or they are distorted will determine the speed and rate of rotation. And are they spinning in the right direction or are they reversed? All kinds of information is available on this. So then, though, really starts to be amazing. It says, as the entity develops the higher energy centers, however, these centers will then begin to express their nature by forming crystal structures. Oh, okay, now I'm starting to get it. So this is the higher or more balanced form of activation of energy centers. They're talking about from our heart chakra up, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown. So he says, well, so the question is, well, what do you mean by a crystal structure? And Ra responds, each of the energy centers of the physical complex may be seen to have a distinctive crystalline structure in the more developed entity. Each will be somewhat different, just as in your world, no two snowflakes are alike. Okay, so now I can start to comprehend what does it mean when we're moving to a crystalline being. Now, when we incarnate into this third dimensional reality here on planet Earth, we have pretty much mastered the first three energy centers, and that's what's allowing us here to be present in this reality, is that we've got that root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus pretty much down. And we are incarnating into this reality to open up our heart chakra. Well, that's if we're on the path of service to others. If you're on the path to service to self, you're probably going to skip right over that heart chakra and move into the throat chakra because you're going to lack empathy, but probably a whole nother video on it of itself. So with the idea that we're going to get from Emoto in his book, The Hidden Messages of Water, he talks about that at birth, babies are comprised of 90% water. By the time we are adults, we are 70% water. And so if you can imagine that we truly are these water beings, and as we develop these higher chakra levels within our system, they actually form into a crystalline structure similar to a snowflake. Each one, it's different. We each are our own unique individual expression of the one. But this now actually makes sense to me. This is incredible. So I'm definitely interested in your thoughts on this. This felt like a huge epiphany that I came upon. It was very profound for me and pretty much life-altering, because now I was able to take this jargon of moving into a crystalline being and really start to comprehend and understand it. So leave comments, ask questions. I'm so curious what you think about this. I have been meditating on it. I think it's amazing information, and I'm super excited to share it because it kind of takes the woo-woo out of that whole new age explanation for me and really starts to ground it into information that I can understand. So anyways, I hope you're having a great day. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care.